Right, guys, still got a bit of raspberry jam around my mouth there. I was from dinner. Had some toast with some raspberry jam. But the thing is, how many professional runners are doping at the moment? Very difficult to tell, really. There's not a lot of to the best of my knowledge, there's not a lot of information about doping in running. Hopefully that's going to change because people who get caught generally just deny it. Hardly anybody actually gets caught, and we don't really know what's going on. There's a documentary about the Kenyan athletes. I think that's about as much detail as we have from the whole doping world, and I'd love to find out more about it. But unfortunately, people aren't really speaking up about it, and we don't really know the answers. But cycling is a good sport. As in, there's a lot of revelations. That's why I've started reading cycling books. Listening to watching videos on YouTube to see what drugs these people were taking, and there's a guy called Tyler Hamilton, and he's been questioned by some, well, not questioned, interviewed by some guy, some American journalist or something, and he's got a really, really strange accent. To me it sounds strange, but he probably thinks my accent also sounds strange. Dublin accents sound normal in Dublin, but if you go outside Dublin, they don't sound so normal anymore. Do you know what I mean? The further you go from Dublin, the more strange they sound. That's just how it works. Do you know what I mean? There's no such thing as a normal accent. When I was growing up, I used to think I had a normal accent, but no. You'd be speaking to people from overseas, from like Britain, when I was on holiday and stuff, and they'd say, "You do not have a normal accent. You have an Irish accent all day long." And they were true. They're right. He was asked, how many people does he think, what percentage of the peloton does he think were on drugs? I think peloton's pretty much like, I think he means like everybody who's at the Tour de France or Giro d'Italia or any of those big kind of races. And he said he'd be surprised there's any less than 85 to 90% of people back then were doping. And he said, whoa, so like pretty much nearly everyone was doping. He said, yeah, so if there was only 85% of people were doping back when he was competing, he'd be very surprised. As I read in a book there, Paul Kimmage, I'll show you the book cover now. Paul Kimmage was an Irish rider. He has a book here called Rough Ride. He was a pro rider back in the 80s. He's a lower tier rider. The 1986 Tour de France, there was 132 finishers, and he finished 131st. So, yeah, it wasn't the best by any means, but still, to get there and finish the race is, a good achievement. I'm not being condescending towards him. He's achieved more than I have as an athlete. Not that matters. It doesn't make you a better person. But the thing is, this guy, he did take amphetamines once. He wasn't really much of a doper. He was like a minor offender, really. He took caffeine tablets, vitamins, injections. He did take amphetamines once. I think that's, to the best of my knowledge, I think that's all he took. So people were, what was I going to say? The coaches or his teammates, can't remember which one, told him, if you ever feel guilty about taking these amphetamines, just remember it's part of the job. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's just absolutely crazy. How gullible the population is. It's like they're all just taking drugs, and one guy gets caught. Oh my God, he's a dreadful person. How dare he? He's taking caffeine tablets so he could just sit on the couch all day, not do any training. Lazy. Well, all those other guys without drugs are busting their ass, working hard, training. So you think the drug cheats do no training. You think Lance Armstrong was doing no training. You think Asbel Kiprop. You think what's your man's name? Oh, I forget his name. The guy who ran 203 in the marathon got caught recently for drugs. I can't actually remember his name, but he got caught for drugs. Then you're just sitting on the couch all day. No, sure, yeah, the Kenyans run like 140 miles a week, but not me. I'm just sitting on the couch and just taking my caffeine tablets all day. Or EPOs on top of that. EPO is like the main course, and then I have caffeine tablets for dessert. No, it doesn't work like that.